Hello, wonderful souls. I'm so happy and grateful to be here today with Sylvia, my fellow quantum soul guidance and galactic astrology practitioner. Today, we're diving deep into the energetics of Saiph, a fascinating star in Orion constellation. We'll explore our connections to that star system, the shadow hunter aspect or archetype, and how its influence can manifest depending on where it falls in your chart. But first, let me introduce my lovely Sylvia here. As a naturopathic therapist, Sylvia gained a lot of experience and insights about how the body, mind, heart, soul, and spirit work. For 25 years, she gathered experience in being a massage therapist and an Usui Reiki healer. Also, in her work as quantum soul guidance practitioner, she experienced that what we see and find in the stars, we can see and find in our body, mind, heart, soul, and spirit. When we truly listen to it, we can find the answers that we seek. She is also working on a regular basis with her dragon, Shadow Hunter, and her guides to master being a human in this wonderful Earth school environment and to inspire other humans to do the same. Everyone is able to master being a human. You just have to listen to it in the stillness and then take your courage to try to embody it. It is an amazing ride, full of adventures. Sylvia, I'm so excited to have this conversation with you today.
Thank you, Margo. Thank you. And I would like to introduce Margo as well. Margo Zan is a certified quantum soul guidance practitioner, visual communicator, and spiritual guide, passionate about galactic astrology and cosmic self-discovery. Through her work, she helps others explore their celestial blueprint, uncover soul connections beyond Earth, and align with their higher purposes. Margo is also an artist and author who weaves her love for mandalas into her practice, using them as a tool for meditation, healing, and creative expression. She shares her insights and creations on her YouTube channels, where she explores the intersection of art, astrology, and soul wisdom. You can find all our links in the description box of this video.
Thank you, Sylvia.
You're
All
welcome.
right, let's dive into Saiph then. Located in the Orion constellation, Saiph is one of its brightest stars, marking the right knee of the celestial hunter. It is also known as Kappa Orionis and 53 Orionis. The traditional name Saiph is from the Arabic Saif al-Jabbar, which literally means sword of the giant. The distance from our star is estimated at 650 light years. Saiph is a bright blue supergiant. While it shines with a brilliant bluish-white light, its energetic signature carries a depth that goes beyond its luminosity. Many who feel connected to Saiph describe it as a gateway to profound inner transformation, an initiatory energy that urges us to confront our fears, embrace our hidden potential, and step into our personal mastery. Unlike some of the more well-known Orion stars, which are often associated with technological advancement or warlike histories, Saiph embodies a more introspective, warrior-like path, one that challenges us to become aware of our own shadows so we can transcend them. This distinct frequency is linked to the shadow hunter, which invites us to face our deepest fears, hidden aspects, and the unhealed parts of our soul. So, Sylvia, perhaps let's start with the placements of Saiph in your natal chart and how you experience the shadow hunter energy in your life.
Okay. Well, my placements of Saiph is or are in the 10th house, and Mars is directly connected to it. And I didn't knew that for maybe 2 or 3 years before. So my whole life, yeah, I gathered experiences and just lived my life. But as we know, the 10th house is all about career, our jobs, our daily job, what we have. And yes, I had in my life a whole bunch of different jobs. 2 years, 3 years. One that was 15 years in a big company. But then again, in that company, I did 2 years on that department, 3 years on that department. There came a reorganization and I had to move to another department. So I was not aware of that energy. And it was until I became a soul guidance practitioner and I was guided softly or into that direction of the shadow hunter, things became clear for me. And I did experience a whole lot of situations where I was being fired. And I thought, oh my God, is that something what I did? No. In the last 2 years or 3 years, I discovered that being a part of a shadow hunter, you are bringing out the shadow of that particular house. So for me, it is in the 10th house, and this means I bring out the shadow in a company through my
Mhm.
actions because Mars is playing a very big role into it. So what I do, how I am, how I doing my job, and it is not on purpose that I want to bring out that shadow. No, totally not. It is that I'm doing my job, doing the things, doing that's particular job description, doing the administration or doing the presentations, and I did a lot of things in several jobs. But every time I got the notice, well, Mrs. Stelton, you don't apply or comply to our company vision anymore. And I thought, okay, what is going on? So, well, I went on, looked for another job. I got the job, went into that, and after 2 or 3 years, the same experience happened. So I thought, well, maybe it's something what I am, what I am doing. And I did park that for a long time, but doing the work as a quantum soul guidance practitioner, I got deeper into that material, the information, and that is why I discovered that I am a part of a long life or a long line of shadow hunters within my family.
Mm.
And what is a shadow hunter doing exactly? Well, maybe you experienced as well that people are coming to you, people you don't know, and they are telling you their whole life story, just in a nutshell or in a few sentences. And you think, well, okay, yes, thank you. But why? What should I do with that? Or, yeah, it's good that you're coming to me, but I can't help you. And maybe I will not help you because it is your life story. But then again, when the other person is telling you that life story of them, and you say maybe one or two words or a particular sentence, or your body language is bringing out a certain vibe, and they pick that up. And when they are not ready to work on their own shadow, they feel offended. And I thought, man, what is happening? So transform that to the 10th house energy. When you are doing your job in a company, as I was doing, and then just as being me, you're doing the job, you're working with colleagues and managers and the whole departments and etc. Then you get a notice, okay, Mrs. Stelton, you don't comply to our company vision anymore. So they feel, in a way, threatened that you are bringing out the dirty laundry news into the open. And when they are not ready for it, they feel offended. So it's easier for them to fire you, or when you are face to face with another person, they feel offended. But why is the person feeling offended? Because you act as a mirror. A shadow hunter is acting as a mirror for the shadows of another person, that other person. And I was acting as a mirror for their dirty laundry news. So, yeah, they didn't want to bring that their things that they are working with in a negative way, maybe, into the open. So I was acting as a mirror. And that is exactly what a shadow hunter does. He acts as a mirror. But when the other person who is telling you their life story isn't ready for working on their own shadow, then they are feeling offended in any kind of way. But it is not our responsibility to work on that shadow for them. Our responsibility is only to guide them in a certain direction, and when they are ready for it, they can work on that. And it is their responsibility, not ours. We're just a facilitator.
We are the messengers.
We're the messengers. Yeah, you're correct. Yeah. And that is why when you're having Saiph on any astrological house point of view, that is the playground where it will act in your life, where you are becoming the shadow for that certain person.
Yes.
And what did I learn in that time? When I did several soul readings for a lot of clients, I discovered that they also had the same issue. People were coming to them, telling them their whole life story, and at one time they did just tell one word, or maybe they spoke a certain sentence, or just their body language. And the other one was feeling, whoa, offended, and how can you say that? And blah, 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 blah. It's a normal reaction. When you're not ready for working with your own shadow and you are confronted with that, it's a huge impact. And I also did learn that being grounded in that certain flow of being a shadow hunter, it helped me a lot. So, but we'll talk about that later on in this podcast. Um, and I also did discover some other things about being a shadow hunter. So when your alter ego or a part of your soul is acting as a shadow hunter, maybe in a different realm, or maybe on a different dimension, or maybe in your life here as well, in the third dimension, it is that actually your shadow hunter is grabbing that shadow of the other person, pulling it out, and then present it with the face forward to that person. So the other one is actually seeing that very, very bad shadow and thinking, oh my God, oh, wow, yeah. I can imagine that you are feeling defensive and that you are feeling scared and that there are many, many fears that you think, oh my God, is this my shadow? Yes, everyone has that shadow. Everyone has several shadows. That is why we are here, learning to deal with that shadow. And I also noticed that not every soul is fitted to be a shadow hunter, to do that work of a shadow hunter.
When you mean not every soul, do you mean soul, or do you mean perhaps this particular incarnation that it's not
In this
fitted?
in this particular incarnation, because not everyone has a connection or alignment with the star Saiph in their galactical astrology alignments. I met several souls who didn't have a
This
connection
alignment.
with Saiph. So maybe being a shadow hunter is not the task what the soul wanted in the whole path to learn.
Gotcha. That's what you mean by not being fitted. Like,
Yeah,
not everyone is a shadow hunter,
yeah,
basically.
yeah, yeah. There are certain types of souls and a certain way that your soul is choosing as a path.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
We are on different missions.
Yeah, of course. And every soul wants to learn something different. Maybe it's bringing unconditional love, or maybe it wants to learn how to get back in their lion power and then inspire other people to do that. It's not easy being a shadow hunter. Oh no, because and you get to face to face the fears yourself,
Yeah.
okay? And they were pretty harsh in my life. But I learned to be in self-loving modus towards me. And that brings me my energy, my points to deal with those shadows. I always say the shadows that we have are the big hairy gorillas on our way, on our road that we walk, and you think, oh my God, there is a big hairy gorilla, and I have to pass that very big gorilla. But just try and hug him. Then that big hairy gorilla is only this big afterwards. So those are our fears as well. And as being a shadow hunter, you have different layers. You have different appearances. And maybe when a shadow hunter is starting his work for the first time, it's maybe dealing with not that many or big fears that we have, just the little ones. But when you are a really fierce shadow hunter, like the ones that are in my family and the one that I experience, which is my shadow hunter, I discovered together with my husband that we saw the picture how my shadow hunter is working. And believe me, it is not a pretty sight to see that. So, and I think being a shadow hunter, it gives you also the sight in your vision that you can see the patterns in daily life. How things in our community, how things in our society is going at the moment. You can see and you can feel the patterns, and you know and you feel from within, okay, no, I don't take that road because that is not good for me. I rather go in a different road, but reaching the same goal. And that is one of the benefits of being a shadow hunter. you can see and you can feel what a service to self is trying to do, what a service to self is trying to manifest.
Yeah.
And for the other side, you also transform. You are helping to transform the shadows with other souls or by other souls because they need a little help. You learned that path being a shadow hunter. You had an education in that. Uh, you that is why my soul incarnated on Saiph in the 10th house in my Mars energy. So I got the whole education being a shadow hunter, but also to help other souls transform their shadow. And I don't know if there is time for sharing that story, what I recently
Of course.
experienced, being discovering some other aspects of a shadow hunter. As you know, I am a massage therapist. I have my own practice, and sometimes clients are coming, and this work is for me getting grounded again. Uh, Doing the work as a galactic astrologist, you are operating in the higher realms, and then as a massage therapist, you are yeah, grounding again, being in a 3D element and really working with the body, what is on your massage table. And for me, it feels very good. So just on a regular working day, there was a woman who came into my practice and she ordered to having a treatment, massage treatment for me. Okay, so it went well, and we had a very lovely chat, and she was ready, and then she went home, and everything was okay. And it was in the early evenings, so I went back up, did some clearing and some work still in my practice, preparing it for the next day. And then I went back up to my husband, and then we had a lovely tea and chatted about our working days, how it normally goes. So it was a nice evening. But then, out of the blue, something struck here on my left side. And I thought, oh my God, what is this? A huge pain. And it was that I was going through the ground and I couldn't talk. It was like a nerve pain. It was hitting me in this point, and then it struck me on my upper jaw and my lower jaw, and it stopped here just in the middle. But only this point, this area. I thought, oh my God, what is this? So I was a bit dazzled that I thought, oh, wow, is there something that I need to take care for myself and look into that? What this pain at this moment is telling me? Long story short, I went to bed, I cleared myself, so I took a shower. That is some things what I always do when I treat some or having my practice work as a massage therapist to clean myself from different energies. I had to take a little painkiller to take off that little that very sharp edge of that pain. So I tried to sleep something, and the next day I woke up early and I took a little time for myself, and then I went back into the pain because the pain was still there on this side of my face. So I have my working thingy what I do for asking myself some questions, and I use my pendulum and the same things that I do within my quantum soul readings. I did that for myself. And then there was one sentence what struck me the most, and that had to do something with guilt. I did something where I died in a certain life, and it had to do with my own stupid fault. So I had guilt, placed guilt on that. Okay, went back in, did a little work on that furthermore, and then I discovered why it did happen, because I also did discover that it had to do something with the client that I had. And it was the client that I had the day before. And I thought, oh my God, so there is a connection. I did an exercise with that, and it turned out that somewhere in a galactic life, in a certain point, in a certain time, in a certain star and whatever, I had an encounter with a mantis being. And that was her soul. That was a fractal of the soul from that woman. And I was a shadow hunter at that time. So normally you go as a shadow hunter towards another person one time. So you present them their shadow, and when they are not picking that up because they are not ready for it or something else, you leave it. As a shadow hunter, you leave it and you go further on with the things that you are doing. But in that time, in that encounter, I was seduced by the negative side. And they seduced me to go back in with that mantis being. So I presented her shadow again. And in that moment, she was, yeah, you can say pissed off. She turned around and then she bit me in the face. So there was the point. She bit me in the face, and that was a huge wound for me. And as a shadow hunter, I died instantly. So it was too big for me. But in that moment, I thought, oh my God, what did I do? So there is the guilt pattern. There is that pattern of fault from what did I do? I did it, bring it up on myself, and I didn't listen. And why did you, why had to, why did you go to the negative side and they seduced you to go back in? And why? So that pattern, I bring it in within my soul mission. And it was here that I encountered her again, did a treatment with her, and it was from a heart, and it was very peaceful and etc. But there was something that I had to resolve. And that point in that moment, I was able to see my own shadow again and to may work on that and to resolve that. And for today, I'm still thankful for it that I may or that I had to do it. And yeah, I cleared that piece and that situation, and now it's good. And when I see her, it's all fine. So there's definitely when you are feeling something of a pain or a moment that you are experiencing, when you have the knowledge or even the courage to go within to feel, okay, what is my body telling me?
Yeah.
Then you have a chance to resolve something of an old pattern what is still sitting within you. And now is the time that you may do it, that you can resolve it.
So
So that is,
fascinating.
yeah, being part of a shadow hunter, and everyone can do this. Everyone. But then again, you have to take the courage. And yes, you have to face your own fears.
And you need to be aware what you're
And you
doing
need to be aware. Yeah, of course.
in the
Absolutely.
first place.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yeah.
Wow.
Margo, how is it with you that you, because I know you have some connections with Saiph as well. How did it work out in your life?
So, first of all, I wanted to say that you were the first putting a scythe on the map for me.
Okay.
That's where you pointed out that this is the shadow hunter energy, and that was my first connection to it, really, to connect the dots, what happening, and connect to this energy. Because we both met in a Julia's course, the Quantum Soul Guidance Practitioner course, and we're doing some practical chart readings, and that's where you brought it up. And since then, I'm like, okay, I'm working with it a little bit more, definitely, and learned what it is. And for me, the alignment happens. So in a 12th house, I have my natal Neptune, and
Mm-hmm.
it's being activated with Saiph, but on an opposition. So Saiph actually lands in my 6th house, and it's activating Neptune in a 12th. So 12th house and a Neptune, they both work in higher realms, as you were
Yeah.
saying. So it's about this connection to the higher dimensions. And I feel like the Scythe opposition is actually bringing it down and grounding it and having this. Scythe basically helps me to bring this clarity of that warrior
Mhm.
in. And so whatever it's coming or whatever downloads I'm getting, it helps me to integrate it into the 3D. But what I noticed as well, and how it works, it's within the subconscious. Again, 12th house and
Yeah.
Neptune are there to do that. So the work, because the 6th house is also the service to others, right? To the
Mm-hmm.
work.
Mm-hmm.
And my work, so the mandalas, the geometric shape, not shapes, but rather designs of mandalas are quite activating, and they are working on subconscious level. So you might not be aware, but they sometimes, after like meditating with it, for me, coloring mandalas or painting mandalas or drawing mandalas, the shapes of mandalas, basically that's what they do. They work on a subconscious level,
Yeah.
and then you might be getting downloads after that session or during the session. But also, that's how the cosmic bedtime stories come
Oh.
around as well. As in, so the cosmic bedtime stories started because I wanted to share the stories of my past lives as well, what we discovered during the sessions with clients. And there were those universal experiences, I guess, that I wanted to share. However, which I wasn't aware of, they also turned to be quite activating. I'm getting comments saying people that they were emotionally activated or the body reacted to it. There were chills, there were tears, there were different downloads, or they just connecting again to subconscious, so on totally different level. And I'm so grateful, which I, again, it was working through my subconscious. I wasn't aware of it at the time when I created it. So I think that's how that works here. They definitely activate on the subconscious level. And you're right, and I wasn't aware of it earlier, with people coming to me and telling their life stories. And definitely, I can see Shadow Hunter working there too, as in, I could straight away, there were certain things in that story that were telling me. It was like,
Mhm.
this is the problem. This one here. Like,
Yeah.
look at
Yeah.
that. And as you were saying, some of them weren't ready to hear it. Some of them were like stunned, shocked, whatever. And some of them were able to take it in and then think about it and do their own thing, whatever they had needed to do with it. So there were different reactions to it. But yes, people have to be ready. And as you were saying, luckily, innately, somehow, I would set it once and leave it. Not always I was feeling comfortable with it, definitely when I said it, and there was that weird reaction like, how dare you? Maybe not how dare you. I don't think I ever heard how dare you tell me that.
Mhm.
However, they were shocked that I could be just straight
Yeah.
to the point with certain thing. So that has been my experience definitely too. But since you helped me see this shadow hunter archetype working through me, the awareness of it helps a lot because now I know what's happening. Now I know why I see the patterns, why this person is talking to me. Perhaps this is the time for them to hear, to be
Mhm.
presented with that shadow. And but that's where basically, as you said, it's not our responsibility to work on it. We can guide them, we can show them, and then guide them if they're interested in that. But those who are ready, I think they're just drawn to us for the sessions, and they ready and they need help. Let's say with that guidance and how to go about it when they're ready. One more thing I want to brought up as well because I have another connection through Pluto,
Mhm.
which is actually Saiph is trining it, and Pluto being this master of transformation.
Mhm.
And the Scythe energy definitely helps me there, and I can feel it through my life. Definitely, loads of transformational moments that I live through, the challenges that, it's like that caterpillar becoming
Yeah.
a butterfly. So there is this moment where it has to dissolve, and I have felt so many times like that in my life where I
Right.
was just dissolved into this one goo, and then I had to put myself back in together and spread my wings and fly, which is very scary. With those
Absolutely.
new wings when you try them for the first time. But yeah, Safe definitely was helping me there, helping to bring the shadows out, look at them. But for me, it's more before our conversation, we started a recording, right? I was telling
Mhm.
you about you going with the diggers. I actually work with the wands. So I have a crystal wand, and that's how I'm cutting off whatever needs to be cut off. And with the shadow hunter, I see like I'm bringing light to this shadow aspect. So not so much of cutting it off, perhaps clearing it off, but it's more like a shining a light. Look,
Mhm.
it's not as scary as we were talking about the gorillas. So when you bring the light to something and you start looking at it and just look at it from every angle, it's less and less scary. The thought about starting doing it, it's scary. We don't want to go there. It
Absolutely.
was in the shadow for a reason, right? But it's worth to bring it up and look at it. And I forgot to mention actually that Pluto sits in my ninth house. So being drawn to this type of work, the ninth house of higher education and
Traveling.
philosophy, yes. So the Galactic Astrology also fits in this very much so. So these energies are helping me now in this work. And for you, even
Mhm.
in a 10th house, you are actively working with it because this is what you bring to
I,
everyday.
I didn't know what that eventually mean or meanting for me. And yeah, as you um, going through life and getting older and gaining more life wisdom and doing your career, well, what you can can yeah, pronounce as career. I was always thinking, why is it that I had so many jobs? And
Mm,
every time I got the notice from them, yeah, well, Mrs. Stelton, you don't fit in our company rules anymore. And I thought, why? What is it? What did I do? Did I did some fraudulent business, or did I offended someone, or and they couldn't tell me. And
mm,
now I know why. Because they were afraid of their own shadow.
yeah.
Their company was representing.
And they weren't ready to change it.
Yes, of course. Yeah, yeah. And
Hmm.
now also I could transform it into a more loving way. And I think either where you have Saiph in an astrological house, and also where the role of a planet is playing his or her part as well, with me in the 10th house as Mars and Venus and Saturn is playing their part.
Hmm.
Ooh,
Hmm.
it's a really harsh mix of several planet flavors. And I think that is also representing the type of shadow work what you are doing.
Oh, yes.
I
Yes.
think with you, you are shining the light with the
Hmm.
crystals and doing in a more loving way. And with me, yeah, the planet of war and Saturn and also Venus in it. That's a pretty big combination.
It is.
Yeah. Whew.
It is a different type of shadows, I guess, that we are bringing
Yeah.
to the
Yeah.
light as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the Pluto in the ninth house with the trine to say, I learned so much through those experiences, the transformative experiences. And I feel not only, I also had quite a lot of jobs actually, which I always thought like they are preparing me for something else.
Mhm.
And now working for myself from home, I can see which skills I'm utilizing now from each of those jobs that I had. But here, this higher learning that Pluto brings in and say now I can also apply in my work. I can much easily relate to others, and those somehow that's how the divine works. People who are drawn to me, my work, and my energy are having similar experiences, if that makes sense, or there's that similar frequency of that. So I am actually able to relate and guide them because of that.
Yeah.
So it's just fascinating how all this works.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really fascinating. And I think it is also, um, yeah, learning to work with your shadow hunter,
Hmm.
to be able to have a relationship with it. And I think it's not very advisable to do when you are doing a soul reading, or even also in my case, doing a massage, then invite the shadow hunter and invite your dragon energy. It's not recommendable. It's either or and not both together. And I think for different types of work, you can invite different types of guides.
Absolutely.
And for me, my shadow hunter is a big black angel, uh, dressed in black and gray clothing, but it is doing also good work. And I think it's embodying that and having that relationship with your shadow hunter, and also that you are able to love that part of yourself. But
Absolutely.
without shadows, there can't be any light, and vice versa.
Yes. Yes. That's the alchemy of it. Yes.
Hmm.
So we love all our parts equally.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's part of this journey here on earth, that's why we bring the shadows and the lights. And when I there is a cosmic bedtime story about Saiph and a shadow hunters on my channel as well. And I remember after working on it, what really came alive for me was that we cannot be light workers
Yeah.
without working first with or on our shadows. So we need to work with the shadows to become a light workers, or like these two are interconnected and they're there. And
Hmm.
yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's really beautiful said because I see it in my own path of experiences. I first need to learn in the whole um, gain of experience and doing my work as a quantum soul guidance practitioner to know and to get known my shadow hunter. I received the downloads. I could bring this information into the open. I could help a lot of people with this information. And now, just recently, I discovered that my soul origin is a dragon energy. And now it is the time to learn it, but not before. I think when I had that information before, just starting on this journey, before I had or gained the information about a shadow hunter, I think my path or way would be totally different. It is what you said. Learn first your shadow hunter, your shadows, your yeah, your atrocities, what you have within you. And when you are be able to embody that and to hug
Integrate.
those and integrate that in your life, then you can be of totally in your power in the light because you know what your shadows are, you know what your fears are, and you know what you have to do to embody or to hug that very big hairy gorilla on the way.
I
Well,
love this
I,
image.
I think in images, so
Oh, very
every
good,
time
me
when I
too.
say that, I see a big hairy gorilla.
And then it goes that big and you can carry it in your pocket.
Absolutely.
Not so scary anymore. Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Beautifully said. Absolutely. Absolutely. Shall we move on to the houses and how
Yes,
those
please. Yes. Yeah.
can? So
The
let's
first house.
start with the first
Yeah.
house, and if you want to share your perspective.
Mhm. Well, as I know from the astrology aspect, the first house is linked to Aries, and it is all about expression, the temperament, yourself, discovering yourself, who you are, and it's also linked with birth and the um, not the experience, but how you display yourself, the first house, huh, in into the world. And I think when you're having a connection in the first house, it is all about learning from the shadows from yourself. But also when you once you are able to manage that and to master that, then you can be an inspirator for other peoples who are struggling with this topic. Discovering the shadows from yourself. It's
Yeah,
very huge and it can be very frightening.
absolutely. And the self is challenges you here to become your authentic self without
Yeah,
the fears. Yes, and as you said, just be the example to others for to do the same.
yeah. Yeah.
Very important, very important role.
I think that's the basics.
Yes, yes, yes. It's the first house after all. So if we look at the houses as the evolutionary journey of our being that definitely falls into the basis of it. And the second house, it's also a basis of it
Yeah, yeah, of course.
because it deals with worth and possession. So self-worth, relationship with self-worth, the finances and material stability. And Saiph will challenge you here about these aspects. You may go through cycles of financial struggle and renewal, so could be up and down. Learning to detach from fear-based security patterns. That's why you would have those, and be true and learn to basically feel worthy no matter what your financial situation is. And the key lesson is to understand that true abundance comes from within. It's just what I said, actually. Yes, facing those inner insecurities. So
But
that will definitely bring this energetic prosperity to the forefront. And again, a role model to others if we master that.
are you worthy of abundance, what you are allowed to yourself? And how is your connection, or how do you see money? Do you have a love-hate relation with money, or can you, yeah, say, okay, I welcome it, and it is delicious money? Are you able to say that?
Yeah, that's right.
Because so many people have a have a hate-love relation with money, and let's face it, it is. So many people say it is something dirty, but it can be otherwise. When you earn delicious money, you can, yeah, maybe it's a weird
No, I love it.
word.
Delicious money. I love it.
You can bring out that delicious money to pay your bills to other people who deserve it, being that self-worth. I learned in my time with where I worked a lot of with my shadow hunter that self-worth is so important.
Absolutely.
That is really important. Yeah. But then again, as we see in the third house, it is all has to do with communication, language, thinking, interaction, knowledge. I can imagine when Saiph is connecting you or having the influence on that, it is all the yeah, the things that you are thinking in your head. It could be quite busy in your head with dealing with the shadows. So here, staying grounded, it's very, very important to keep that clear focus and to can say, okay, this is my shadow, and that is something what I picked up from someone else. But also, yeah, presenting the shadow with communication in meetings. Ooh, it could be very feisty.
Yes, but I also think there could be shadows related to communication.
Yeah.
So, how do you communicate? Is this in a loving way
Yeah.
or not so loving way? So, I think the shadows around the communication, that's what could be a big part of your life to master if you have any connections in the third house to the Saiph here, depending also what planet, what flavor would that bring in, or angle could be also your ascendant, could be your midheaven.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Words can hurt.
definitely.
Absolutely, yeah. But also words can heal.
Yeah, so that would be the lesson and the challenge or the mission for that person to
Mm.
go through. And Safe will help with that.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. So then the next one would be the fourth house, unless
Yeah.
there was something else you wanted to add to the third.
No,
No?
no, no.
And the fourth house is all about your home environment, the ancestral connections, ancestry. So the roots. So here, the patterns of ancestral patterns could be a part of the challenge to work with, to break,
Yeah,
to also create healthy, strong foundations of your life. Because home is your foundation, this is your sacred place, this is your sanctuary, this is where you go for rest and in our cases we also work from home, so it's even more, I wouldn't say more important, I think it's the same importance, but definitely I can feel that the sanctuary here is very important for me
mhm,
and what energy is flowing in my house. So yeah, ancestral patterns, the strong roots. So there could be challenges here for
absolutely.
you to work with.
And also, I think the self-care.
Yes.
How do you deal with self-loving, but do you nurture? Can you nurture yourself, and can you um, be there for yourself? Be like a mother for yourself, but also be like a father for yourself. And I think when you have family patterns, what you already said, ooh, they can be also very quite confronting. When you are the one who has to deal with all those patterns and take them out of the closet and then change them, and then when you change them, working backwards, it can be also very confronting. And yeah, with that aspect shadow from Saiph or being that shadow hunter in this particular area, it's challenging.
Yes, I love that part about nurturing. The challenge is to basically create this stable foundation, the independent of external validation. I think it's very in important one, but also could be the big one here.
Yeah,
Definitely.
absolutely. Yeah, yeah.
Lovely. Yes. How about the fifth house, Sylvia?
Oh, great. It's all about love, romance, but also fertility and the creativity, what you have. Being creative in several layers and in several departments in your life and your expression. And are you able to give yourself and to experiencing pleasure and having fun? I can imagine that when that shadow part is playing a very big part in this area of life, maybe you can be too serious and don't allow yourself having fun in life just for experiencing this. And when you have experienced it, then you can bring it out in the open. And then you can see the patterns where someone else is struggling with this type of um, uh, of life is struggling with that. Being creative in so many different ways.
Yes. Yes, and that made me think about even through creative expression,
Mhm.
allow yourself to express both the light and the darker. And that made me think about, sorry, I'm going to bring my mandalas again,
That's
because
okay.
what I found very therapeutic for me
Hmm.
is to work through heavy emotions with mandalas,
Hmm.
especially coloring them
Okay.
when I had very, I've been in a very deep state of grief and
Hmm.
pain and sadness after losing my beloved pet of 14 years. I remember myself sitting there crying and
Hmm.
coloring mandala with the colors that felt right at the moment. The
Hmm.
sadness I was able to pour over the on the paper with those colors, and that helped me to regulate it.
Wow.
So the dark, the heavy, you can bring that here as well, and this might help to then feel joy again
Yeah.
with even going through this challenges here and bringing those shadow and darker parts out. Yeah,
But I think when you see that mandala, what you created there in that time, and when you see it now, maybe it can be as an inspiration act for someone else to get to his or her grief just by looking at that mandala. Because I think when painters are painting their painting, you see beautiful paintings, you see paintings that you think, oh my, okay. They also um, give you a certain flow within you, a certain feeling, a certain emotion. And maybe when people are not able in their daily life to express their deepest dark emotions, and when they see such
absolutely.
a mandala or such a painting who is, or which is bringing or yeah,
Activating.
activating that, maybe they can suddenly cry or think about that or just being able to go in that darker part of them.
Absolutely. Agree. Agree. That's how I see art and creative
Yeah.
self expression. It works both ways. It works for the person who expresses it, but then for the viewer or the
Hmm.
one that it's actually taking it in, definitely. There's this energetical exchange. That's for sure. Yes, I
Yeah.
believe in that.
Yeah. So yeah, I think when you're having Saiph there, wow, yeah, why not?
Artists can,
Yeah,
yeah.
being able to bring that into the world. Wow.
In different modalities, of course, because it's not only related to the paintings and drawings and all that, but movie creators, musicians, actors. Oh,
Writing
actors.
a book.
Yes, but actors, they're actually embody it, right? Because
Yeah,
they go into the roles and they
yeah,
play. Oh, wow.
yeah.
Yes. So there it is, the fifth house for you.
Yeah,
And
the
tell
sixth
us in
house.
the comments if
Uh,
you know whoever is listening to it, and if you have any activations, or you have like a bubble. Oh, this is me. This is it. This is how it's showing up for me. So if you're aware which house the safe lands in for you,
write it in the
let us
comments.
know in the comment. Yeah. We I think we didn't mention actually where the scythe is placed. It's Gemini 26, around 26 degrees, isn't it? Yes, that's 26, around 26 degrees of Gemini. That's
Only-
where you
Yeah,
will look at
yeah.
where is the 26 degrees in your chart. That changes slightly depending on the year you were born, but more or less 26 degrees. Okay, let's move on to the sixth house. So, the sixth
Yeah.
house of mastery through discipline and service. With Saiph in the sixth house, your daily routines, work, and health are the areas of transformation. You may feel drawn to healing work, particularly shadow integration, energy medicine, or trauma recovery. However, if unbalanced, this placement can manifest as burnout or perfectionism.
Oh yeah,
Your path
perfectionism.
is to find a sacred discipline honoring your body and soul while maintaining energetic boundaries. And I'm smiling here because this applies so much to me.
Yeah.
Even though the Saiph is activating Neptune in a 12th, as I was saying, it is actually placed in my 12th house. And the perfectionism, this is the pattern that I'm working on since I remember. But it's getting better. It's getting better. The fact that we're actually doing this type of conversation here, it's part of it. It's not all scripted. And for
Mhm.
me, this is quite uncomfortable to let myself to just flow and be unperfect with my words
You're
or
doing
thought
great.
patterns. Thank you. Thank you. You're making it very easy. So, yes, I can definitely feel those.
I have a question for you though.
Yes.
Also, the sixth house is related to little pets. Where in your life did with your pets what you had and what you're still having? Um, could you dare recognize that shadow part?
The shadow part. I I I definitely connect with pets very strongly.
Hmm.
And there are parts of my family and to be honest, I even feel much more comfortable with them than other human beings.
Hmm.
Safer, I guess. But I think I'm having a hard time now to pinpoint the shadow aspects of that connection to pets.
Can you
Like,
feel them?
can I feel pets? Yes,
And can you maybe feel when they are not feeling well or having something?
absolutely. I was
Because
actually going
pets,
to it. It got to, yes. So, I remember two pets. So, it was really hard for me to, as I said, the pet that I lost 14 years, she got quite sick, and prior to her transition, there was 2 weeks of vet visits and all
Mhm.
that, and that felt, I could feel it very strongly. Like I was so strongly connected to her.
Mhm.
Like it was painful for
Mhm.
me,
Mhm.
and I could feel her fear every time
Oh,
going to the vets and being on this table, examination table, I
yeah,
guess,
yeah.
and all of that. So that I can feel that. But now, since then, we actually adopted another two kitties.
Mhm.
And when it comes to the shadow parts, I think the first one, Benny, who joined us, he also has been quite heavily traumatized.
Mhm.
And so I can feel that. I can feel those traumas. I can feel where it's coming from. So when he, what's the word? Displays,
Yeah.
he's you could see he's scary because he just ran and lived in the closet for the first time for the first 2 weeks.
Mhm.
He was just coming out at night when it was peace and quiet. And I can still feel it's there.
Mhm.
So I think I can connect to those traumas. Let's
Okay,
say that
in particular.
that particular
Mhm.
trauma. And with my first kitty cat, I also could see the trauma of her growing up with a much bigger, she was like a filigree 3 kilo, not big at all cat. And she was growing up with already like full grown 1 year old Maine Coon. And I don't know
Wow.
if you are familiar
Uh,
with the Maine Coons. They're the big, he
oh,
was, I don't know, 9 kilo, I think.
oh,
So that also traumatized her.
yeah.
Yeah, so from that point of view, I think I could really see and feel and understand the traumas and what it did to them and why I could see how this is playing out. I can still see how it's playing out for them in their lives now.
Mhm,
So I can also translate it to me
mhm,
and other humans, right? How we basically based on our traumas
mhm,
react being
mhm.
triggered
Yeah.
in our lives. So
Okay. Oh, great. Wow.
yeah.
Wow. I'm loving this. That's really good.
Mm, me too, me too.
Okay. Seventh house, all about relationships. Ooh. And sharing and business partners and marriage. Ooh, yeah. Ooh, that can be ooh in a marriage. Ooh, seeing the shadow of your partner. Oh my God. Can be quite confronting, especially when the partner's not ready for it. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, business partners as well. Yeah, that's also a very, ooh. For me, I think it's a very different part of playground in life. Seeing the shadow in your business partner, in the business, in your marriage, and it's very, very confronting. But also other relationships, what you have outward with other people on the work floor, being a manager. That's
Mm,
very cool. I had actually once, there was a manager coming to me for a soul reading, and he had also Saiph connection in the seventh house, and he couldn't pinpoint it. But afterwards, when I cleared out this type of seeing that shadow, he thought, oh, well, yeah, I'm a manager. So instead of being forced and going into that and creating confrontation and things that are not well or going well, you can also guide your department, your employees, to guide them and empower them into a direction where they can work on their shadow or being empowered to go in that way.
yes.
But seeing the shadow of your partners, that's pretty, yeah.
Yeah, I can see how challenging that can be. And in
Wow.
this house, I think it's the most, the one in which you will be presenting the mirror to the
Mm-hmm.
other person the most
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because it's through relationships. So, and even though, um, as you mentioned, it could be managerial position and then your coworkers, I think even more so it will happen in your close relationships.
Yeah.
So this is quite challenging.
Mother-father relationship, aunts, uncles, cousins, grandfather, grandmother. Ooh. I think when you see in the fourth house, it's your family and your ancestors. I think that this is in the seventh house. It's more challenging. It's a level deeper.
Yes, but I think
Shadow
even more
part.
challenging is with the partners, and that's where the biggest focus would be here. I still feel like that. Either your romantic partner or business partner, someone really, really close, and I think this will be here the constant. Okay, we need to work on this partner. So very important work as well, and challenging. Yes,
Very.
challenging. But I think again it works both ways. I
Yeah.
think here the shadow hunter will align you with people who will you will discover your shadows through your partners.
Mhm.
So yeah, works
Give and
definitely both
take.
ways. So look there for clues.
Mm.
Next time when you get triggered, that's probably why. And maybe you're not ready. You haven't been ready to work on this yet, but it's brought to your attention for some reason. So
And I think when, especially for this playground in the life, what can help is self-love in a good way and being grounded. To know how to do that. And when you are, as a shadow hunter, good, very steady in your grounding, then you are able to presenting that mirror, but not. You can do it in a loving way, and not in a way.
yes. Yes.
I think
And
that is
knowing
very.
about it, I think still helps. Like just being aware
Yeah,
that's why it's happening
yeah.
because you innately see this and you present those shadows.
Mhm.
But knowing it, when I realized that as well, it's like that's how it works. So then you have this nanosecond to stop yourself and think, okay, perhaps I can present this shadow in a slightly easier way,
Yeah,
or that's what's happening if someone is presenting my shadow to myself. That's why they're doing it. It's not their malicious intent, hopefully. Let's
not
say.
having
But
Mars in it.
yeah,
Or
no,
something.
but I think yeah, who knows. So yeah, that helps. This perspective definitely helps.
Absolutely, yeah. The
Wow,
eighth
so
house,
the eighth one also pretty
mysterious.
intense.
Yeah.
The eighth house, deep soul alchemy and karmic clearing. That's the title. This is a powerful placement for Saiph,
Yeah.
as it naturally aligns with the themes of transformation, death, rebirth,
Yeah.
and esoteric wisdom. If placed here, Saiph will amplify your ability to navigate deep emotional and spiritual alchemy. You may feel called to work with hidden knowledge, shadow integration,
Hmm.
or past life healing.
Hmm.
However, displacement also demands radical self honesty and
Hmm.
surrender to cycle of transformation.
Oh, yes.
So
Yeah. Cool.
that would be the main themes. If you have a placement in the eighth house, transformation is the big one, and the alchemy through transformation. But also remember, this is you equipped. South is there to facilitate that.
Hmm. Hmm. And I found the eighth house also. I found it a beautiful playground.
Oh yes, with the esoteric knowledge.
Yeah, and the
Actually,
mysterious.
you can be a
Yeah.
witch. You can be a witch. You can be a fairy. Whatever calls your soul. But yeah, and you can drawn
Mhm.
from this ancient knowledge,
Yeah.
which is more and more, I think, for those who are called, they can find it. They can definitely dive into it.
And they can use it. Yeah. Wow. I love it. Mhm. Okay, the ninth house. Yeah, it's all traveling, wisdom, as you already said, and then religion. seeing the shadows in religion.
That's
Ooh, that
right.
can be
Oh,
deep.
yeah.
Philosophy.
I now I remember as well. Now, when you mention religion
Hmm.
and the shadows and the trine now with Saiph here,
Hmm.
for me, I remember I grew up. I was born in Poland,
Hmm.
so highly Catholic country, and at the time, to the extent of religion, Catholic religion being taught in
Hmm.
the school as
Oh,
a
yeah. Oh.
separate subject that we were graded on.
Hmm.
So I went through all the first sacraments, the first communion,
Oh,
the
yeah.
baptism first, and the first
Yeah.
communion, and so on. However, after the first communion, I was maybe 7 years old.
Hmm.
I remember I came to this realization that this is not for me.
Yeah.
Religion, as in, I I felt like I have this compass within me that I know it will tell me what's good, what's bad, kind of like I don't need the Ten Commandments. I don't need to this guidance. And I remember also thinking like I can see how this is helpful for others, but I don't need that. Thank you
Yeah.
very much.
Yeah.
And since
Yeah.
then, I was able to
Yeah.
move away from it. So I think that was it. That the Pluto connection here with the Saiph was helping me to see,
Yeah.
helping me to detach kind of from this and have the connection straight through the divine.
What connection did you have with Pluto? Is it the trine?
Trying, yes.
Trine, okay. I see with me, I have a square on Saiph and Pluto, but I had that similar experience.
Oh, interesting.
And it was a whole lot later. It was, I think, in my teenage years. And I did some, yeah, there was a possibility that you could read some of the Psalms or little stories that the Bible has, and you can read that on the altar, and
Hmm.
as the pastor or the minister is doing his yeah, service. There was a time that someone from the public or who wanted to do that could read a little story, and I did that, and there was really, I had an epiphany. I was standing on the altar in front of that wooden um, thingy where the Bible was placed, and everyone was looking like this, and I thought, what the am I? I'm telling here and reading here. I thought, this is a reading book, and in that moment, it struck me from, no, this is not for me. God is everywhere and not alone in this church.
Or this book.
Reading or
Mm.
in this book, in that story, what you are bringing to the people. That's fine, really. When people need that, oh yes, please do it. But for me, it was not at that moment, and I thought, no, it ends here. And I had a huge fight with my mother. He really wanted to me for me to, yeah, continue that thing.
Path.
I
Hmm.
didn't. No, no, I didn't want it. So I had a huge fight with my mother. But I was glad that I made that decision for me. From okay, I can find God everywhere in everything, even in a
Yes.
tree and in a flower, in another human being, and even in a pet, in animals,
And yourself.
and in myself. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So she is
Okay.
seeing the shadow in religion. Yeah, it's really confronting, I think, as well. But you can also act as an inspirator, as a someone to empower someone else.
Others. Yeah. And I love how our stories are similar, but also show your aspect was a square. So you had this huge fight with your mom because she wanted you to
Hmm.
continue. for me it was trying and it was so easy. Like my parents actually themselves didn't practice. I think my grandmothers on both sides, they were even my granddads didn't really go to church and stuff, but my grannies, the both of them, they're into it much more. And I think as going through all the sacraments, right? The baptism and the first communion and so on was rather done for their sake. My
Yeah.
grannies, my parents didn't really care about it, I guess. Um, so I had much easier, like I just stopped, let's say, and to be honest, my grannies would like to bring me to church every now and then, but
Yeah.
I don't remember huge fights over it, and it wasn't too difficult.
Okay.
So it's lovely how this plays out as
Yeah.
well
Yeah.
when it comes to the alignments.
But I think it gives you a huge respect towards religion. That did it for me. To having a huge respect for someone's religion. And I think everyone is entitled to do their own religion, what he or she wants.
Absolutely.
And if it's Buddhism or Christianity or other forms of types of religion, it is all good. It is. I have that utmost respect for it, and if you are happy,
Yes.
yeah,
As long as you don't harm others, that's my
yeah,
own. This is the line that I will draw.
yeah.
But what I want to say as well, the fact that I was able to detach what brought later on was that I could see that each of the religion is actually talking about the same
Mm-hmm,
God, the
mm-hmm,
same God energy, the same
mm-hmm,
divine.
mm-hmm.
However, they have like their own stories, different characters, let's say,
Yeah,
that would tell similar story in a slightly different way with different people involved, so on. So being, I think, without detaching myself from it, I wouldn't arrive there. So that
oh,
was my path.
yeah. Okay. Shall we in
Move
short,
on.
yeah, go on. Okay, 10th house. It's all about our career, jobs, structure, reputation as well. Traditions. Ooh, ooh. Your goals. Yeah, I really can not recommend it, but recognize it.
Yes, but it's also leadership, right? And
Yeah.
purpose. So this might draw you to transformative leadership roles, guiding others through their own
Hmm.
dark nights of the soul.
Oh, yeah.
But there might be challenges around recognition, authority,
Yeah.
and imposter syndrome. Have you ever experienced that, the imposter syndrome?
Imposter syndrome. Yeah, I think when you are feeling overconfidently, um, yeah, I can recognize it in my life, in the similar situations where I bumped into, but I definitely can recognize it also with authority, absolutely, because I had to learn what was my own authority, my own authenticity, and rather keeping banging on to someone else's authority, first learn your own authority. And then you can also deal and handle with someone else's authority.
Okay.
And structure as well. Oh, the old structures that are embedded now in our environment where we live in our society where we live in, that old structure, all the that are really rusted and they are crumbling down, and you can see the shadows, and you can see also what is not working anymore. But it has to crumble down
Yeah,
to become a ruin, and then from ruin you can build upon something new. Ruin is the path to transformation and something new. And when you are seeing that structure, that authority, that power, that strength, yeah, you can either use that strength and power for a negative way, or in another way, using it positive to empower someone.
absolutely. Yes. And the shadow hunter energy will definitely help you here to see the flaws or the patterns within those structures, governments, even because the 10th house is also the government.
Yeah.
To see the shadows within those
Yeah.
places, yes.
But
And
also the male energy, the father energy, and being like a father for yourself. That was always um, difficult for me in my youth. Being like a father for myself, always judging myself. And a father is actually doing that. He can judge you, but he can also love you. But when you are more in that yeah, learning kind of period, and yeah, you can easily judge yourself. You have to be aware of that. Definitely. I can recognize that, yeah.
but then again, as we said, you now being in your power here, helping people consciously
Hmm.
to work with their shadows, and
Yeah,
this is your purpose,
yeah, yeah.
fulfilling your purpose now here beautifully. Wonderful. When it comes to the 11th house, here you presented with the shadow work in collective consciousness. Saiph will influences your role within groups, communities, and societal evolution. You may be drawn to working with those who feel lost or disconnected, guiding them towards self awareness.
Yeah.
However, you may also experience periods of isolation as you navigate the deeper truths that others may not yet be ready to embrace. And the challenge is to remain connected to humanity while honoring your unique cosmic insights. Yeah, so again, because the 11th house is linked to communities, friendships, networking,
Hmm.
as well as,
Wishes,
sorry,
having hope, wishes,
wishes
or
and
wishes,
dreams, yes,
dreams, and hopes that we have.
for the future and for ourselves. So I can see how you can guide people in finding themselves here,
Hmm.
and where their purpose is as well, and their wishes and hopes. And again, I think those perhaps shadows within the structure of community, your closest community, that can be, they're pretty visible for you, and maybe you're called to work with that
Among friends.
among friends. Oh yes, yes, that's right.
Yeah, very interesting. I find all the houses very interesting where Saiph can have a connection on. Really, and
Absolutely.
yeah, yeah,
No, I wouldn't ever pick any over another. I think they're all because with each one, I want to say again, very challenging place or very challenging
yeah,
because this is
absolutely.
it. Like each of them, a shadow hunter archetype, it is that challenging.
Yeah,
As we said at the very beginning,
yeah.
energy that challenges us to look at our fears, at our shadows, ours as well as others. So.
Hmm. And to learn and deal with it. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So communities, friends, yeah, fun.
Then we have the 12th house. That is
Mhm.
your
Specialty.
yeah, specialty. Oh my goodness. Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah, why not? You're specialized in that. You know the it is your playground on karma, spirituality,
Past
things.
life memories,
Yeah,
intuition,
things that
subconscious, as I was saying.
yeah,
Yeah.
you can bring certain things to an end, a good end.
And dream work might be
Yeah,
something
absolutely.
that I don't yet. I don't know. Maybe that is for me in the future. That's why I said I don't. So
Interesting, very interesting.
let's recap. I can feel the dream work, like there is a lot of happening, and there are dreams where even when I wake up, they leave this still alive emotion within me
Okay.
that is kind of carrying through the day for some time. However, I don't work with them consciously yet on this level. Like this is work done at the time where I'm somewhere else when I'm
Uh-huh.
sleeping, basically.
Hmm.
But you having the placement there might be already consciously working within your dreams. And in this case, keep the dream journal. That might be very helpful if you're not doing it yet. However, as I said, I don't work on this level with my dreams yet in 3D. I mean, I'm not bringing them here.
Okay.
Maybe that would be in the future. What is important though to keep an eye on, let's say, is bring the balance between or be aware of illusion and reality. And escapism could be an issue here as well.
Mhm.
If you feel overwhelmed with this reality, you might be feel like you actually want to live in a dreamland, which might not be very helpful or healthy. So again, grounding. I think it's good for whatever placement in a house Saiph lands in, because after all, that's why we're here
Mhm.
on this earth, to be grounded in this lifetime, and the placement in the 12th house will help us to reach to other realms and bring it here, but let's ground it into reality. So yeah, this might be an issue, the dissociation or the feeling disconnected from this reality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe living more in the higher realms than really in the 3D, because we have a 3D body and we are experiencing, as we are growing older, that our body is also growing older and things are not that tight anymore and flashy and young and huh?
Yes, we
Yeah,
need to pay attention to our body, definitely. Yes, not only
yeah,
live up there,
yeah,
exactly. And
yeah,
it's beautiful when we master, strike that balance, because then we can bring this in, and that will help us and others. There's a potential to help others through bringing in whatever wisdom from other realms into this world.
yeah.
That's what I'm working on anyway.
Yeah, but don't forget that you are uh, with your art, with your mandalas, what you are already published in those two books. People can use that in their transformation to close a certain trauma, to overcome a certain trauma, when they can use to coloring those mandalas in their therapy. Beautiful,
Yes. Thank you.
beautiful.
Thank you for reminding me of that. What I meant, I think it's more that it's work in progress, like it's a process, right? That's why we are here. We're working through those, and balance is a key in everything. That's where we here to try to master the balance in our life, in every aspect of our lives, because all is good, all is right, and dark, shadow, and the light. It's just the balance between those aspects.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, that's correct. Wow.
awesome.
Let's
So I
see.
think that will good on the houses.
Absolutely.
So let us know in the comments where the safe is in your chart. And if you can now see how it is manifesting for you, if that was helpful, we would love to hear that.
And let us know what you find or what your um how do you like this video, what we brought to you. I would
Oh,
like
yeah.
to know. That was very interesting.
Such a powerful
Yeah,
discussion, I feel.
absolutely. But I think we have still one aspect of having talking about Saiph is um, some practical tips. I know, and I can imagine for sure that when you are hearing this for the first time and you think, "Oh my God, ooh, wow, how can I embody it? How can I work with that? How can I, yeah, bring it into my life?" And I think, and maybe you can point that out as well, Margo. For me, grounding is so important.
Absolutely.
This is one of the most important things. Be grounded every day and remind yourself a few times in a day, am I being grounded still? And if not, do your exercise. Do your practice on that. Make sure that you are being grounded. Use maybe essential oils. There are a few very good essential oils to ground yourself. Or maybe you need a little token, what you are carrying with you in your pocket. For everyone, it is working differently. But make sure that you are grounded. And also, what I learned in my experiences, when you are feeling that you're having some energy with you from someone else, then send it back to light.
Nice.
Because we are picking up so many energies from different persons, and it is not ours to deal with that. But also don't forget the second step, bring your scattered light particles. When we are going shopping or going to a mall or doing the groceries or going even to family, etc., friends, or going to work, our light body is stays active for 30 days. So everywhere where you go, a little light piece is leaving behind, is yeah, set behind actually. But retrieve all those little particles from you at the end of the day towards you, and then cleanse it. Act really in your consciousness. Cleanse it and then put it backwards or into your body. You feel that you are becoming whole again, and you retrieve your little parts from you back to you because they belong to you. Be, when we are dealing with people, when we are communicating with people, or even be in their neighbor, in their surroundings, energy is floating backwards and towards you. It's a natural thing. But take those little things back from you because they belong to you, and cleanse them before you put them back into your body. It's very important.
That's so good. That's so good. Yes, I love it. I love especially the part with the light particles, as you said. I can see in my mind now how we walk around whatever town and we leave this light trail behind us.
Yeah.
And yes, this is how you can feel our light body, the energy, the frequency of us. And you know straight away if you click with someone when you like
Mm-hmm.
in a close distance, right, talking or whatever. That's what it is. It's the energy exchange, and we can feel good in our fields. Yes, so I love that. Retrieving it. I need to do it daily now. But yes, developing the grounding daily practice would be very, very helpful.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And there's so many ways we can do that apart from what you mentioned. Walking barefoot is the best. If you can do that, 20 minutes is the sweet spot every day. That's where the exchange of how you call it
Energy?
energy, but there is actually the, the name for the particle that escaped me
Okay.
now,
Yeah.
where you exchange it with the earth.
Mm-hmm.
It there's negative. It doesn't matter. But
Okay.
anyway, when you exchange it, it backs to it's getting back
Okay.
to normal, let's
Mm-hmm.
put it that way, state. So then you just feel even refreshed, you have more energy.
Okay.
You giving whatever, let's say, negative charged particles back to
Mm-hmm.
Earth, and she is giving you back the positively charged
Ah,
ones. So that's
great.
what the energy exchange actually does with Earth. Or even grounding meditations.
Yeah.
Imagine yourself growing roots into the earth and grounding yourself this way. So there's many ways, definitely. Another way to work with the shadow hunter aspect would be journaling.
Absolutely.
You can you can ask yourself questions like, what are the patterns that keep repeating in my life?
Yeah.
And now, based perhaps on the, if you find the alignment in your house placement, you can zoom in on this aspect of your life and see if there are the patterns that are repeating. So you
All little
can,
signs, what you are, yeah, getting along the way.
yeah, and see if there's anything you would like to unpack, work on.
Yeah.
I mentioned the key, the dream journal, especially if Saiph is in your 12th house or is aspecting your moon or Neptune.
Yeah.
In that would be very helpful here. You can also do a mirror work with yourself and just do affirmations, looking yourself
In the
in the
mirror,
light.
actually. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and you can say something along the lines of I embrace all parts of me, both light and shadow with love. And that's, I found affirmations very, very powerful,
Yeah.
very, very powerful. So the shadow aspect, the mirror here will be very powerful, but if you don't, if let's put it that way, if you want to accelerate it even more, what I found that worked for me is to record affirmations,
Okay.
me speaking, and have it on your phone, for instance. And then if you go for a walk, you can put the headphones on, or when you clean the house, whatever you're doing,
Yeah.
and have them then in the background, or even when falling asleep, or even during the sleep if you want. But this way, what is powerful about it is the fact that it's your own voice.
Yeah.
So, especially when you struggle with self worth, I think, and self confidence or self love, in
Yeah.
this case, this would be very healing to hear your own voice because it's you talking to yourself.
Yeah.
Um, and having it recorded, it's much easier to play it anytime you want, take it
Yeah.
with you wherever you need you going, and more you remind yourself of it, as in will listen to it,
Mhm.
the best it will work. So try it out, and let me know as well in the comments if you liked that method.
Affirmations are really great. I love them.
Yeah,
I there is every day I use them.
good, very
And
good.
when there is a day that I didn't use them, I miss something.
True.
The whole repertoire what I use for and it's I start with that and then tick 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 tick. Okay, then that's and then maybe 10 or 5 where I'm drawn to and I work with them and yeah, it's really amazing. Affirmations are really really good. Yeah, I love them. Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah.
So awesome, you feel the same way. Yeah. Is there anything else, Sylvia, you think would be good to
Mm.
bring?
Just go with the flow. That's also very important. Try to love yourself, nurture yourself, and it's not frightening to when you see the shadow hunter in your dreams or when you are encountering people when they want to tell you your them or their whole life story, and you can also say no. You don't have to sit and listen to their story. When you say no in a gentle and loving way, that's okay. It's your boundary. And healthy boundaries is also very important. And it's not
Absolutely.
your responsibility to work for them, to work on their shadow. It's very, when you do that, and I did that in my early days, I think that's also a point to learn it on your path being a shadow hunter. It exhausts you. Try to solve all the problems and all the shadows of someone else. Poof, no, I'm glad I'm do not that I'm doing that not anymore. It's really exhausting. And it then again, it's not your responsibility. So you can leave that out and that gives you so much more energy. What you can use for yourself, having fun and then doing more pleasant things in life than working on the shadow of someone else. No, not doing that.
No, it's not the part of original
No,
design.
no, no.
Each of us is here on our own journey to
Yeah,
integrate our own shadows.
yeah,
Some of us having the shadow hunter connection will be here to help others in recognizing their shadows. Some of us are here also to help them to guide them through dealing with their shadows. but definitely we are not here to work on the shadows of others.
Yeah.
Yes, this is a very, very important message. Yeah, lovely.
Mhm.
That
Mm.
was, I loved it. It was so, so good. Sylvia, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with
Thank
me,
you.
with us. I will have all the links for Sylvia website, YouTube channels, of course, in the description as well, so you will be able to find her there. And don't forget to also subscribe if you like this type of content, and like and share if there is anyone you think will benefit from this information. Yes, I think we're gonna do it more often.
Absolutely. It was a
There,
pleasure
there
and
are other
enjoyed it.
there
So
are other
thank
topics that excites us both as
you.
well. So yeah, I can't wait to do it again.
Me too. Thank you,
Awesome.
Margo.
Thank you. Thank you so
Okay.
much for watching, everyone, and
Absolutely.
till the next time.
Till the next time. Bye.
Bye.